Hey guys, it's me Morvi, and today I am not bringing you another achievement guide. I thought I'd change it up a little bit and help you guys gain that much needed gamer score that we all crave. So I've decided to start doing some top 10s that will help you guys find easy games to blast through. I tried making sure I compiled enough variety as I didn't want you guys sitting through a list of 10 walking simulators. Also, I made sure a lot of these games are very affordable, as I know sometimes I watch guides and they keep putting up £20, £30 or $30 games. And sometimes some of us don't have that. So I've made sure there's enough affordability as well as quick game score on this guide. I've also included some Game Pass games, as who doesn't like completing a free game? Okay, without further ado, let's show you guys what you all came here for. Let's see these easy games. Okay, first up, this game should be on every achievement collected completed list. If not, you're in luck, so I have a guide for it. Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons is a sweet little game about two brothers journeying across the land after their father gets ill. They are asked to travel to collect the cure. On the surface, it is a very sweet, calming game, but if you delve a little bit in and look at some of the themes that the two brothers go up against, you'll notice that some of them are pretty adult themes, such as the loss of loved ones, depression and suicide. But it's quite interesting. From the outside it looks like maybe a children's game, but when you delve in, you find that the game's peering at some of more bigger issues going on in the world. You can complete this game in around 3 hours, although without a guide it might be a little bit longer, as pretty much all of the achievements are missable. You can complete this game in around 3 hours, but without a guide it's going to take quite a bit longer. Although the game is very straightforward, there is a very good chance you're going to miss a lot of the achievements. This is because they are not on the beaten path. Check out my walkthrough, link is in description, and I'll show you exactly where to veer off from the normal path to get them achievements. I like this one merely because the themes that come across in the game, I really wasn't expecting it and kind of hit me in the face a bit. Pick this one up. It has been on the Game Pass for forever and it's just been taken off. At the minute it is $2.99 in the sale, but usually it is $14.99. I personally wouldn't pay $14.99 for this, and I would expect it to be in a lot of sales in the future. But this one's a great start for any collector out there. Okay, would it be a top 10 achievement guide if I didn't include one walking simulator? Well, you asked for it, and Gone Home is what I'm supplying you. For this game, you find yourself going back to visit your family. Once you're at the front door, you find out that your sister has gone missing, so it's our job to hunt around the house and find out what has happened. From the outset, it does look quite spooky, but not in your traditional sense. Instead of having a scary monster chase you, thunder and lightning blasting through the windows and moving objects, instead we have a very empty, darkened mansion with long thin corridors and just a spooky aesthetic. It doesn't help that our character isn't the fastest mover, so we end up crawling through these corridors and rooms. There's just a very weird atmosphere about this building. There's not really a lot to say about this one. There's a couple of speedrun achievements that may take you a couple tries to get, but aside from that, they are all pretty straightforward. Walk into every room, interact with various puzzles, and move on. You may need a guide for one of the achievements, where it will ask you to find all the voice notes from the developers. This is because some of them are hidden very, very well. But aside from that, this one, you should blast through it within an hour and a half, couple hours. It is very easy. Okay, now it's one I've played most recently. This one is Crypt of the Serpent King. This game is a super crude dungeon crawler. If you watched my guide, you could tell that I wasn't the biggest fan of it, but it's quite good to get gamer points. The aim of the game is to collect keys throughout the level, very similar to Slender Man. The only difference is you unlock a door at the end and you have to fight a boss. To gain 100%, you're going to have to complete the game on easy, medium and hard. This might sound like a bit of a task, but all the levels and monsters are pretty much the same all over each difficulty. So that's 21 levels in total. Each run takes around half hour, 45 minutes. They are also reskinned, so they attack the same, they've got the same sort of speed, they're not really an issue. Each map plays exactly the same aside from a little few graphical details, and instead of a hole in the floor it's now a fiery hole, so that's literally it. You're going to spend the majority of your time sprinting past enemies and getting straight to them keys, which seems to be the best method. Killing enemies does reward XP, but you can get through the campaign without upgrading your character at all. A few points in agility will help you run a little bit faster, but it's not necessary. I'll be honest, it's not the best game, but it is super cheap. If it wasn't for how quick you can complete the game, I would not have gone near this one. At £1.59 though, you can't go wrong. If it's cheaper than the big Red Bull, then yeah, I'm in. It should take you around 3 to 4 hours to get through this one, maybe quicker if you're watching my guide. I have linked it down below. It's a good game to play on a rainy Sunday, just don't expect a glorious fantasy game like Skyrim or something like that. Cubebot is another game that should definitely be on your completed list. This simplistic puzzle game does get you scratching your head at some points. The aim of the game is to get all the correct coloured blocks to the matching colour on the floor that's placed somewhere around the level. You will need to use your surroundings to your advantage as the blocks move simultaneously. You will need to use corners and gaps to stop the movement of some blocks while it allows others to move. This one does take a little bit of getting used to, but once you have the controls down it is quite simple. I would recommend the guide with this one as the later levels can be a bit tricky, but it's nothing too hard. I'll be honest, when I first picked this up I wasn't expecting to be stuck on some levels. You begin the game by blasting through level after level, but eventually you do hit a brick wall. But yeah, that being said, it is quite quick and it is super cheap. This one will not break the bank, it's only £1.50, and you'll earn 1,000 game points in around 1 to 2 hours, but make sure you do have a guide with you. Assemblance is a super interesting thriller that I picked up not too long ago. You take control of someone who is stuck within an experimental lab, and the only thing that you can interact with is a machine that can simulate memories. You go back through your memories to find pieces of the puzzle to find out who you are and why you're there. This game is very fun, although gathering achievements can be a little bit confusing. You need to go through specific memories in order to unlock various hidden parts of the game. You will more than likely need a guide for this one, and just so happens I have one. Check the description below and I'll put a link down there for you. This one is super fun, I really love the story on it. Not many games have tried to do this, and it's just nice to play something new and unique. Every time you finish a memory you end up back in the main room. Now and then the computer will ask you various questions about yourself. This made me feel super uneasy, and it kind of gives the impression that you're being watched and you're not alone, even though you see no one else throughout the game. With a guide this should take you just over an hour to complete. It's currently £6.30 in the store, so it's not going to break your bank. This is probably the most beautiful game on this list, and that one is Abzu. This sea exploration game has you swimming through breathtaking scenery and interacting with rare sea creatures. There aren't really objectives in this game, it's more swim through the levels and just check out what there is to explore. But it's pretty much get from point A to point B. But you can tell the developers had the level design as the main focus of this game. You will lose yourself in the landscape, it is absolutely stunning. The controls are really fluid, making exploration super enjoyable, unlike some other swimming games we've had in the past. This one's really good just to wind down after a long day. The majority of the achievements of this game can be easily acquired during one playthrough, although there is 3 achievements where you will need to collect multiple things across all of the levels. This can be easily done in one run while using a guide, but there is a level select if you need to go back at any time. This one shouldn't take you no more than 3 hours if you are using a guide to find all of the hidden objects. This one did used to be on the Game Pass but has recently been taken down, so it's going to cost you around £17. Personally I'd wait for sales, I think that's a little bit expensive for this game. It's really good, but I have seen it pop up in various sales in the past, and since it was on the Game Pass, so I reckon it will pop up again. I wouldn't spend the full price on this one. Next on the list is another puzzle game. This time it's Energy Cycle. This one is super duper easy and will only take you around 30 minutes to complete. It isn't the most entertaining, nor are the visuals that impressive, but it's quite thought provoking. The aim of the game is to make all the coloured circles on the screen the same colour. By clicking the circle, it will change the colour of not only that circle, but all adjacent circles horizontally and vertically next to these circles. It's almost like a digi Rubik's Cube. This one can be a little tricky without a guide, but you are in luck because I have one. Check the description down below and there will be a link. This one is also super cheap. It's currently around £2.50 or $3. This one is probably the fastest completion on this list, so that's worth noting. If you want a quick 100%, this is the one for you. The next game I'm going to be talking about is the favourite one on this list, and that game is Refund. It's a first person sort of speedrunning game where the aim of the game is to get from point A to point B by pressing all these buttons. These buttons open up more and more of the map as you go in, so you can see it rising in front of you. This concept is pretty cool and I haven't seen it put in many other games. It's very interesting to see from the start of the game, and then once you're in for about 20 minutes you can look around and you have a sprawling landscape that you've built just by pressing these buttons. There is also this mechanic where you step on tiles as you're running, it will light up a different colour. This will help show where you've been and haven't been. This is also connected to various achievements throughout the game, which I'll get to in a second. This game is a stress reliever. It's one of them games where you don't have to think too much while playing, you can just sit down and enjoy it. The controls are super easy and anyone can really get the basics down super quick. I love the graphics on this one. It's super simplistic, but the colour palettes they use is really calming. All the achievements on this one are super easy, aside from one where you'll need to complete the game within 4 minutes. Although this does sound super hard, after gaining all the other achievements you will get the hang of the game. So it will be a little bit of a challenge, but it's nowhere near impossible. To get the full 100% it shouldn't take you more than 2 hours. I think my run it took me just over an hour to complete it all. Another benefit with this one, it's super cheap. It's around £2.50 or $3, which I think is a complete steal. I really enjoyed this one, and I couldn't recommend it for all you achievement hunters out there. If you haven't got it, I really recommend just picking it up. I also have a video guide on this one, so check the description down below and there will be a link to it. Anyway, on to the next one. Okay, Fractured Minds is an indie horror game created by Emily Mitchell. It is a very short story that allows the players to delve into what it's like for people suffering with anxiety and depression. From switching moods to feeling lost and isolated, this game allows you to get into the shoes of someone that suffers from this. You are followed around by this faceless apparition for most of the game, but it doesn't explain what or who it is. The developer has left the story quite open-ended that allows the player to form their own synopsis, which I think is super cool, especially in this context. I really enjoyed this one, even though there's not a lot of it to enjoy. It is a very short game. It was kind of like going down a rabbit hole. I wasn't really sure what the game was going to throw at me next. I think gaming is a great platform to be able to express your feelings, because sometimes it's not easy to explain your thoughts or put it down into words, so I believe this visual representation is a great way of doing it. I believe the developer captured it perfectly. This one shouldn't take you more than 20 minutes, and to be honest, I really recommend buying this one. This one shouldn't take you more than 20 minutes, and you're in luck, it has just been put on the Game Pass. So this one shouldn't cost you anything. Next up is Midnight Deluxe. This one's a fun platformer where you take control of a cute little sugar cube character named Midnight. The aim of this game is to reach the end of each stage while avoiding saw blades, pitfalls and many other fun ways to die. What makes this gameplay stand out is that the gameplay is very similar to a golfing game. You will have to charge up your shots and aim where to go, and you will shoot Midnight across the map. It's as if Super Meat Boy and Angry Birds had a love child and made Midnight Deluxe. The art style is very simple but super eye-catching. This game made me feel like I was travelling through the unknown, especially the glowing eyes all over each level watching you. Another reason this game stands out, it only takes 40 minutes to complete. Yep, you heard me right, 40 minutes to gain 1000 gamer points. One thing to mention is that you do not need to complete the game to gain the whole 1000 gamer points. You need to get through around 80% and then you will unlock it all. Usually these quick games lack the actual game element, but this one is super different. I might be biased because I love platform games, but this one you should really look into because it's super fun. And that's the end of my first top 10 guide. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you saw any games that you've never heard of before, let me know down in the comments. And also let me know of any games that you've played that you think should be on my next list. If you'd like to see more, make sure you hit that subscribe button. But for now guys, I've been Morvi. Thank you so much for watching and I'll catch you later. Peace.